Hello and welcome to another video. And in this video, this is going to be hard for me to talk about. Um, I feel very uncomfortable right now because I'm about to do this video, but I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight this, and I'm going to talk about this. This needs to be talked about. I'm going to talk about this because I want you guys to see like who I am and what I used to be and what I went through. Okay, it's like this. Um, yeah, in the previous video, I told all of you guys that I had a temper, and and I get angry real quick over little things, and this happened in the past, and I've been doing this ever since I was 12 years old, and now I've grown out of that, and I realize that I can't let things get to me. You know, whatever it is that's making me angry, I gotta let it go. But and also I met a lot of girls in my life, and I can name all of their names: Amy, Stephanie, Christian, Christina, April, Nikki, Lauren. Yeah, yeah. I met all these girls. And some of them some that I didn't care for because a long time ago, like when girls were like interested in me, and there was a girl that was interested in me like when I was a teenager at a church that my dad took me to. Um, this girl was interested in me. Her name was Alice, and I wasn't interested in her. And now I wish I was in that predicament when a girl has a liking for me, but today that's not going to happen to me. It's not. I got to face the facts that that I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. I'm not going to be with a woman or a girl. You know, but and I'll tell you why. What's behind all of this? Yeah, I wasn't much of a people person, and I wasn't that good with women and girls. And I can tell you why. I can tell you the story of me going to college. Okay, I went to this college, and I was a student at this art class. You know, I took some subjects in college, automotive, remedial English, math, and other courses, and I didn't do so well in all of them. And I just excelled in art class. Um, yeah, okay, I was a student. I attended an art class at this college that I went to. My college art teacher was by the name of Mr. Hilliard, and that was his name. Okay, one day in art class, me and everybody, all the students in art class, including me, we're all drawing pictures. don't remember what we were drawing. And okay, I was drawing and drawing. You know, I stopped and I looked up and looked around and I saw this Japanese girl, and she looked up and looked at me and gave me a warm smile. And and I look back on it and I think she likes me. Okay, I saw her every day in art class. Then I remember one day, this was the day that killed everything for me, like, having this girl as my friend and girlfriend. I killed it because of this weird behavior, this questionable behavior, this disrespectful behavior, this harassing behavior that I had. Because I was a weird person, and I was. And one day, Mr. Hilliard had all the students, including myself, to go to this warehouse that's part of this college that I went to. We went to this warehouse. It was dusty and dirty, and everything was covered in dust and dirt. And everybody went there to draw pictures of things, and I did that. And I did that with everybody else. And as we did that, okay, I was drawing, and when I got done, I looked up, looked around, and I saw that Japanese girl who I saw for the first time. I kept seeing her in class, and when I looked at her, and when I looked at her and she looked at me, she gave me a smile, and I didn't smile. I was miserable and I was beat down. And I've been like that ever since I graduated from high school. You know. Okay, and I made a plan to give her something in class. So on that day, I brought 2 lollipops, 2 of them. Both of them were blow pops, but they were known as Charms Super Blow Pops. They were bubblegum filled lollipops. I had 2 of them. One was grape flavored, the other one was lemonade flavor. I had a lemonade flavored super blow pop, and the other one was a grape flavored super blow pop. The lemonade flavored super blow pop. It was called a Charms Way Too Sour lemonade flavored super blow pop. Okay, in our class, I had them in my pocket. In our class, I got up and went over to where Ryoko was. That was the girl's name. That was her name. Sorry I didn't mention her name. That was the name of the Japanese girl at this art college class that I took in college. Her name was Ryoko, and that's what her name was. I didn't hear what her name was until when the teacher spoke of her name. And I'll tell you why and why I found out what her name was. Okay, this is going to be hard to talk about, and I'm very ashamed, very, very, very ashamed of this. And okay, bear with me. I'm going to say this, and if you guys hear this, if you guys are angry at after what I just said to all of you, you know, I deserved it. I deserved to get hate. I deserved to be looked down and bashed. I deserve it, you know. Okay, I got up with the two lollipops in my pocket, the two Charms Blow Pops in my pocket. I get up and I walked towards Ryoko, and gave the two lollipops. I pulled the lollipops out of my pocket and showed them to her. I didn't say anything because then again I was shy and I wasn't much of a people person. I was a bit of a weirdo. Um, yeah. So when I pulled the two lollipops out of my pocket and showed them to Ryoko, and I just didn't say anything. I just offered her one, and yeah, she reached and grabbed the grape flavored one. You know, this is about after I walked up to her and pulled out the two lollipops and showed them to her. Okay, she went and grabbed the grape flavored one, and she went and held them both in her hand. She held one in her hand. She held the grape flavored one in her hand. So I went and grabbed the grape flavored one from her and gave her the lemonade flavored one. And I don't know why I did that. That was wrong on my part. You know, she can get whatever she can have whatever she wants. It was wrong for me to do that. But at the end of the day, she didn't care. And I got up and went back to where I was and sat down and I looked at her and she said thank you to me for offering her one of those Charms Blow Pops. Okay. Then after that, she stopped drawing and she told me she wanted to eat the lollipop in class. And she said, "Can I eat it here?" And I said, "Yes." So she removed the wrapper off of the lollipop. And then she started eating it. And I watched her as she eat it, and she was eating it. And first she licked it, then she popped it in and out of her mouth about one or two times. And she looked at me and she held the lollipop up and she said this to me. "This is good." And then she asked me this, "Do you like lollipops?" I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. Then some guy walked up to her. He was a white guy, and he wore a baseball cap on his head, and he went and talked to her like a normal person. Something I didn't do. I think about what she was drawing. Then after that, I did some. And then after that, I got up, went to her, and I whispered something in her ear about why she was eating the lollipop the way she was eating it. And it was a dumb question. I whispered this in her ear. And she went and shouted this at me. "I don't know!" Then I proceeded to harass her over the way she was eating the lollipop. And, and after that, I went back to where I was sitting at. And she went and popped the lollipop in and out of her mouth for the third time. Then, after class was over, I got up and walked up to her and extended my hand to introduce myself to her, and she just smiled and didn't shake my hand and walked away. And the next day in art class, okay, I was drawing a picture. I was drawing a picture. I was drawing a picture along with everybody else, and I looked up and saw Ryoko, and she looked at me. She just gave an angry, bitter look at me because of how I treated her the other day. And I forgot to mention this on that day that I gave her one of those lollipops after I harassed her and all, treated her bad. I went to the bathroom and did something that was sexual. I didn't want to talk about it. So there. And I tried to do the exact same thing that I did to Ryoko to a black girl in this art class. Then after that, the next day, Ryoko wasn't at the art class, and Mr. Hilliard, the art teacher, came walking in and asking people, "Hey, have you guys seen Ryoko?" And I knew that Ryoko left the college art class because of me and how I treated her. So it was hard for me to talk about this. I'm just gonna say this. I feel bad for how I treated Ryoko. You know, I didn't know how to treat women. I didn't know how to talk to them because I had a father who didn't teach me how to treat women right, how to talk to them. And all my dad ever taught me was just dress up and be dignified and be respectful towards people. Not respectful, just dress up, be dignified, and take care of yourself. And you have no friends out in the real world. You have no friends outside this house. The only friends you have in this house is me, your mother, and your sister. And he told me that all white women, all white girls, and all white women are nothing but trouble. They will ruin a black man's life, a black man or a black boy's life. And he told me that Japanese women don't like me because I'm black and because they were exposed to a lot more than I have, and all they care about is women. All they care about is men who have a lot of money, and who were exposed to a lot more than they have. And he said I didn't fit the bill with a Japanese woman or a girl. So I can blame my father for how I turned out, how I became who I was, how I am today. My dad never taught me how to talk to women, how to treat women right, how to respect women. He never taught me to be myself. When it comes to a job, he never taught me teamwork. Basically, my father basically don't care about nobody but himself. And my dad thinks that he's smarter than everybody. He thinks he's better than everybody. He thinks everybody but him is an idiot, a moron. He has trust issues. If someone gives him advice on something, he'll just ignore them. That's how my father was. And when I was growing up and he filled my head up with all this stuff, it just it ruined me. It corrupted me. If I was a father right now, if I had a son and my son liked a girl at his school, I'm gonna say this to him. You know, it's good that you like that girl. You know, just make sure that she's good and she's decent and she's not gonna get you in all kinds of trouble. And if she's sweet, feminine, down to earth, easy to talk to, and approachable, then she's the one for you. But be careful be careful because you don't know if she's good or bad. If she's bad, if she's no good, just stay away from her. I'm not gonna fill my son's head up with garbage that the way my dad filled my head up with. I'm not gonna do that. And I'm gonna teach my son how to treat women right, how to respect them, how to talk to them. Yeah, I'm also gonna teach him, right from wrong, what to do and what not to do in a situation. Teach him something. Yeah, I would do that if I had a son right now. But I don't have a son, and because, I don't have any children, I'm not married because, I wasn't that, because of my poor communication skills with women and not being a people person. So, meeting a woman now, I think that ship has sailed for me. So I just gotta accept the fact that I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life. I gotta accept it. It is what it is. I hear Winston Wu, the founder of Happier Abroad. He said that here in the United States, the problem isn't you. The problem is the people and also it's the people and the society here in the United States. The problem isn't you. The problem is the society and people. And there's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with society. And I don't know. I don't know if this is connected to how I was, with women and girls in the past. I don't know. And I heard someone from Canada who I talked to online in the comment sections on one of the videos on my YouTube channel. He's a guy from Canada. He's from Toronto, the GTA, the Greater Toronto area. And he said this to me: "You should have left America a long time ago." And I said this to him: "Yeah, I didn't do that because I was stupid. I should have did that a long time ago, but I didn't do it. So, basically I'm paying the price for that. And I'm paying the price for how I treated Ryoko at that college that I went to. How I treated Ryoko was wrong. And I looked at Ryoko and I remember how she looked. She was Japanese. She had short, curly black hair. She was cute, and she was. And I just, she could have been my girlfriend, She could have been my best friend. But I screwed that up, because I didn't know how to act. If I was mature during that time when I was in that art class in college, if I acted mature and I went met her for the first time, went and talked to her. We talked to each other, and offered those blow pops, and didn't harass her on the way she was eating them. If I did not harass her over the way she was eating them, and asking her that stupid question on why she was eating it the way she was eating it. If I didn't do any of that, just gave her the candy, let her eat the candy, and just talked to her about who I am and where I'm from, and she talks to me about who I am and who she is and where she's from, and told her that my father served in the military and he went to Okinawa in Japan. If I just socialized with her, talked to her every day, and we became friends, and asked for a phone number, maybe we would like get along with each other. Not get along. Maybe we'll be friends. And I don't know her situation. I think she was from Japan or even I think she was living somewhere in the U.S. I don't know if she was living somewhere in the U.S. I didn't know. So let's just say she was living where I'm living right now, and and living where she living right now. Okay, scratch that. Okay, I go to her college dorm. We hang out with one another. Then I take her out on a date. I take her home and show her off to my parents. Introduce her to my parents. Like we date. We talk to each other. If I went down that route, by now, like she'd probably be a girlfriend that I had a long time ago, or probably she'll be my wife right about now. I'll be married to her right now. I'll be wearing a wedding ring on my finger. I'll probably start a family with her. But I heard that people in Japan, they're nice and they're friendly, but they're not open and sociable, according to Winston Wu and Andrew from one of the videos on the Happier Abroad YouTube channel. Escape USA and date foreign women. Yeah, and I want to go back to I'm trying to think here. Yeah. So about Japanese women, I don't know nothing. I don't know that much about them. Um, I'm from California. I'm gonna tell you guys this story. When I was growing up in California, uh, Oceanside, California, Oceanside Vista, uh, Carlsbad, Escondido, North County of San Diego County in California. As a kid, I grew up around people from different ethnicity. I was around white people. I was around a lot of white people. I was around them a lot. I was around them even more. And I was around not that many black people. And I was around Hispanic people, Mexicans. Also I was around a lot of like Asian people, Chinese, Japanese people, and some Samoans. And and I spent my childhood in California around these people, and I didn't care about race. I looked at these people as just people who were just people who lived in the same place that I lived in. And yeah, I talked to some, I got along with the kids, and I did. Yeah, and my late brother, who died in a car accident, um, he was, when he was a teenager, he was friends with this guy who was Asian. He went fishing with him near the harbor in Oceanside, California. And I was a little, and I was a little boy. I was with my brother and his friend, and I had to pee, and one of them told me, "Just take a piss, just take a piss, just pee." We were somewhere, and one of them told me, "Just take a piss, just pee." So I went and peed. Yeah. It, yeah. But yeah. I live here in Texas, and those people that I used to be around in California, I'm not around a lot of them. You know, just white people and black people, and some Hispanic people, and that's about it. So, yeah, and going back to race, I don't care about race, and I don't, because to me, I grew up in an environment where I didn't see white, I didn't see black, I didn't see brown, I didn't see race. All I saw was people, and all I cared about was what kind of person these people were on the inside, and not what they are on the outside. And I was never ever racist because I didn't care about race, and I always been like that. I remember I worked at this TJ Maxx, and some black guy come walking up to me and telling me, "Oh, that black guy was that old black guy was he was fired because he was black." Blah 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 blah. I just ignored him and just got away from him because I didn't want to hear all of that. And it was all about some old black guy. He had an artificial leg, and he was making a lot of weird decisions. Making a mess of everything because of how old he was. He was incredibly old, and he was let go because of that. So I didn't care about race at all. And all these girls that I brought up in this video that I met in the past, they're all married now. They all have a spouse. They all have children now. Ryoko, I don't know if she's married or not. She's probably is. And I messed up because I didn't know how to talk to women and girls. So I'm kicking myself for that. Should I blame my father for this? How he brought me up? Yeah, I can blame him, and I can, but everything falls to me. But I guess it's all on me, and I'm gonna take it. And I am. So yeah. If I ran into Ryoko today, I would apologize to her for how I treated her. But she probably doesn't want to have anything to do with me, and that's okay. So and also going back to me having this temper, this temper that I had just basically ruined my life. It destroyed my life, basically. And I'm controlling it right now. I'm going to get rid of it because I don't need it. Because I know that whatever it is that's making me angry, making me lose it, isn't worth it. So you know, I've changed right now. I'm getting better. I'm feeling good about myself. You know, I'm getting out more. Even though everything is so extremely expensive here, where I'm living at. Okay, before I end this video, just want to show you guys this. You know, this is a flag of Greece. This is a flag that I got at a souvenir shop in Athens, Greece. Back on that 2023 Mediterranean cruise that I went on. Yeah. Yeah, this is also proof of me going abroad. So, you know, I got two of these. I want to give one of them to somebody. So, you know, I'm gonna give this to somebody one day, and I am. And you know, this is just a symbol of me going abroad. You know, it's good that I haven't had the opportunity to travel to different countries. And I'm gonna keep my nose clean and stay out of trouble. But if I get into a lot of trouble here in the U.S., you know, I'll be banned from traveling to other countries. I don't want that to happen. So yeah. So that's my story about the women, about the women I met. Well, not all the women, but that's the story of me and this Japanese girl Ryoko in this art class from college. So that's my story about her. So so what do you guys think of this story that I told to all of you? You can leave your comments if you want. So that's all I gotta say in this video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.